I'm addressing myself to Kenyans and His Excellency the President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the head of state of this country. Mr. President, Your Excellency, sir, Happy New Year to you. I would request that you reflect on your duty to defend the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya before proceeding with the clamor for constitutional change, previously referred to as the BBI. Dear Kenyans, Happy New Year to you. For me, it is a hazardous well-being moment and not a constitutional moment. I therefore proceed to say as follows. Today I want to reiterate what I said in January 2020, on 2nd of January 2020, which has been vindicated. President Uhuru Kenyatta, I said then, and I still reiterate, remains the single biggest threat to the Constitution, democracy, devolution, and economy in this country. He has chosen the destructive path of either his way or the highway. President Kenyatta has done everything possible to subvert, undermine, outrightly disregard a progressive constitution of Kenya 2010. Mr. President, your declaration of a constitutional moment has no justification or constitutional reasons, and the exercise is an ultimate final assault strategy on the 2010 Kenya Constitution and democracy. I want to state it here without any pigmentation of doubt that any debate on the Constitution of Kenya 2010 amendment must be divorced of the 2022 political succession. If construction of the Constitution or reconstruction of the Constitution is going to happen, it must be based on the national consensus, discourse and debate, public participation, as well as informed, comprehensive audit of the Constitution of 2010 on what has been and has not been implemented. The Constitution of Kenya 2010 audit process has been started by the Auditor General, and that process has come up with a report. And for me, we need to be inclusive, participatory, and people-driven, contrary to Mr. President, Your Excellency's assertion that this is an urgent constitutional moment. We need instead to salvage the economy, survival, livelihoods, and the dignity of the Kenyan people. The referendum is being forced upon Kenyans on a convoluted, confused, patched up document which no public participation was undertaken in the normal sense of our requirement under the Constitution. It is not only politically manufactured, consent being sought from smaller groups than the larger public, but also misguided, reckless, and irresponsible. It is informed by baseless, incoherent, ill will, self-political interest that justifies the process in their own statements or in their own strategy and plans. The constitutional amendment and referendum are not informed by the need of the country or the people of Kenya. It is intended to enable the formation of enclave ethnic-based political coalition to manage 2022 succession and have political offices created for the ethnic barons without considering on the serious economic and financial consequences of their actions to the wider good of the country. It's a political madness, crazy, you can call it so. Your Excellency, Mr. President, sir, is cleverly attempting to walk the path of changing the Constitution to retain control of state power, while even outside, through a facade of democracy, is not present. We must vehemently reject this new tactic. Your Excellency, sir, Mr. President is trending on a very dangerous path of militarizing the state, killing devolution, and indeed other independent offices to serve the pleasure of the executive. I say this in mind with the judiciary that has been compromised. Devolution has been compromised, it has been weakened and captured and the Parliament has been captured. The judiciary itself, as an independent office, has received an onslaught that I'll talk about a little later. I want to warn the people of Kenya to bring to their attention that they will collectively, or we shall collectively bear the brunt of the executive's democratic regression. Freedoms, real and imagined, are going to be curtailed, even as economic deprivations and inequality deepen. For Kenya to remain a truly democratic country where the rule of law thrives, our president must accept the reality his term is coming to an end. He must ensure peaceful transfer of power in 2022 as he goes home. And we will want to support him in that particular exercise as members of Jubilee and also as Kenyans. Kenyans will regret for a long time if they allow the executive or His Excellency Mr. President, with the help of hired political mercenaries, and there are several of those people who are praying around there, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga being one of those people, Mr. Murathe, Mr. Atuori, and others that you have seen. Mr. President attempt to force a constitutional amendment is the highest level of betrayal of the oath of office that he took, and the Constitution he swore to defend and protect. He should not be allowed to extend his power, his stay in power, in whatever form, whether direct or indirect or through proxy. It is a moment that His Excellency the President admitted that he has made costly economic and physical policy blunders or mismanagement. In the last 7 years, we have seen it all. His Excellency cannot blame or pass the buck to anybody. The buck stops on his desk, in his office, that he swore to defend. There is nothing, no hiding the fact that the economy and the financial status of the country is in turmoil. Our country is in an enormous health care crisis. Unemployment rate, the cost of living has hit the roof. You have seen the teachers and the doctors seek equipments, PPEs, medical equipments. The teachers are asking for masks for the students. They are also asking for better terms. The doctors are asking for insurance cover for themselves and their families. And we know that these are necessary for them to be secured before they can secure Kenyans. Banks are beholden to the government bonds and bills at the moment. The living costs are climbing higher. Uncontrolled borrowing by this government, debt distress, and unregulated government spending is a painful in a painful declining economy. In so long as the functions have been costed and that they are supported by way of costs stated and declared. Therefore, that cannot be a good reason why the governors have been in the quiet team for the change of the constitution, while they have gone for long periods without even the 15% of the devolution share that they are entitled. Kenya belongs to its entire population. The future of the country is a collective future. President Kenyatta, His Excellency, has served his term in office. He must let Kenyans shape and decide their destiny without authoritarianism. The judiciary, as an independent arm of government, has also suffered executive onslaught by reduction of its budget and failure to respect the institutional structures of promotion and appointment of judges, and failure to uphold the rule of law. Refusal by the executive to obey court orders, and including court orders requiring that the executive takes its mandate and role of appointing 41 judges that have been processed by the JSC. These are very serious constitutional onslaughts that have occurred under the watch of His Excellency the President. The executive has also turned the police service into a police force, back into a police force that takes orders from above, instead of executing their mandate as prescribed by the Constitution, an independent police service. The IG does not seem to understand his duty in an independent office created by the Constitution. This has resulted in the constriction of the democratic space and the freedom of expression through disruption of meetings and police brutality against diverse voices, meetings that do not appear to be having the same code as that of the deep state or the criminal state. We have seen chest thumping from certain persons that say that they speak for the president or they know what the president would like. And these people, some of them, particularly the NAT Secretary General, the Kotu Secretary General, Mr. Atwori, has been very clear, loud and clear, that Kenyans would have to accept the change of the Constitution. The President himself has expressed himself in no uncertain terms and said that he designs a constitutional moment. And that's where we are asking His Excellency the President to reflect. It is not possible for one person, irrespective of the fact that we respect you and we know that you are the head of state, for one person to carry the dream alone, to be able to say they discern a constitutional moment on behalf of Kenyans. It is a document that was made from a long period or after a long period of discussions, consensus building, negotiations, and indeed a constitution is a negotiated document. Always it is a negotiated document. It is not a forced document. It is not one person's view or political arrangement. You have to give and take.